Are you really sure? I'm really sure I want to go live. Yes, hit
I
that
am
second
too.
button. So, welcome to Tarot Pairs. And tonight, our stories begins with a therapy dog. Then we run on to the third Miss America in a year. The third story is that's the second story is about Texas allowing distilled spirits to be made at home. Third story is the third Miss America in less than a year's time. And our fourth story is more than an astronomer, somebody in history. There was evidence found that he was also into alchemy. But, all of us esoteric people are into a little bit of, but, we're into astronomy. Jeff's feeling a strong retrograde today.
Hell yes.
Okay, so story one. Jeff, what's going on? Big news on Jeff front.
Yeah, I got all the files for the audiobook, so it should be out soon. I have a few snippets that I did put into a couple videos on my channel today. That one is advertised as such, the other one is in another video, so you have to go and see which video it is. But for those who already have some good writ, the audio files are really good. The voice, Duncan's voice, who narrated it, are really good compliment to the prose, because unlike the last book, that sort of heavy, weightier stuff, I wanted the pronouncements to be pronouncements about death, whereas last book had more cliches than this one. So I wanted the light moments to resonate light, and I wanted the powerful death stuff to resonate, so that you found the rhyme, or you heard the rhyme, even if you don't see it in prose. You might hear it more because he's more subtle in his nuance delivery than the last one. And speaks for itself. I had Vita Wolf, who has a very thick Italian accent, so there was a weightier quality, more mired in worldly pity and stuff like that. This is more about not necessarily self-pity, but the realities of death. So I wanted them to be things that you not just sensory could pick up on, but you heard in words that resonate, like lilting. So I hope you like it.
I've lost it. So that is great news. And do they know when the well, I suppose you go through for your edit and suggestions and whatnot, and then
like tonight I'm gonna listen.
It can get released, but is it like? I would think that it'd be a little quicker than a print production, but maybe it's not.
It is, and actually, though, it's more expensive than the print production. Why? I don't know. I have no clue. It's actually
you got to pay a human at least minimum wage, and I'm sure somebody with a real voice and an actor.
And the other part of this is Kindle will not let you do AI on a voice when you're selling. Kindle forbids AI. So I couldn't, if I wanted to. I looked into it. It would have been much cheaper, but I also didn't like the sound of the voice. Like I could tell. I mean, I can't tell the difference most of the time, but I could tell with my own words that it was AI. I didn't like the sound of it, or I feel people would know. And I'm just like, you know what? Forget it. Get a human being. But it is more expensive. I'm shocked. I was shocked by like 2.5 times more expensive than just to publish a regular poetry book for
And
getting
so
the promotion.
So this is self-publishing, even though you have a publisher.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get support from them monetarily,
Yeah.
or?
Yeah, I don't have to hand over royalties to them though. The last 2 books I had to hand over royalties. So the royalty rate was better on the second book than it was on the first. What? Miss Moonlight, I don't know. I mean, if I read it myself, I think it would have taken longer because I don't have the facility to, I mean, I don't mean the place. I don't have the ability to, I don't know about uploading files that well and whatever, but I wanted to do it. So that's why, like, lately I've been scrimping. Like, I've been running out of food and I'm like, I have no food till Thursday. But then I got to pay rent too. I'm late on rent. So, but yeah, that's why, because I really want these done. So, whereas the last 2 books, no, the first one, I went mad crazy on. I've talked about this, how much money I invested into it. I invested the last part of my inheritance into it, but I got rooked by what they call bookstagrammers, or on Instagram. They're like, we can make your book this, we can do this, and they were all basically, I think, under the form of people who were just fly by nights and whatever. They mostly write the reviews, but they wouldn't get anything, done as far as promoting or anything.
Then we sort of have a similar thing here as the content creators. We get bombarded with emails about, we can make your videos rank higher and get you so many subscribers, and get you to monetization quicker with our SEO.
Second one. I got my
our
second
search
one.
engine optimization, and that's okay. So we're going to start with a story about Coda, the therapy dog. And this dog is so cute. It's a Pomeranian, which you wouldn't think a Pomeranian would have the personality to be calm and go into hospitals and nursing homes and be a companion, while people visited, if invited up onto the lap, Coda will go to a lap and sit in the lap while the visiting takes place. Coda has a car. I don't think Coda drives it. I think it's a remote control, but they put little sunglasses and a driving hat on Coda. So just a cute story, a heartwarming fluff piece. And for that, we have we have the Six of Cups, which is our nostalgia card, paired with the Lovers. So it just gives the elderly and the sick just something to feel that they're, even though they may not be at their own residence, it gives them some sort of comfort being together. And what is not the unconditional love of an animal? Oh, there we go.
I'm trying to get it on my end because I can't see with the white between tarot and I don't know, the doll, or if it's coming from mine or not, but I'm trying to click it and it's not letting me.
Well, it starts out innocently enough, doesn't it? The chat, you see them?
Yeah.
And then, pretty soon they start spelling hate one letter at a time so they can't get seen. Thank you, Hershey. So yours is Lovers in Reverse. 6 of Cups upright, Lovers in Reverse.
All right, so with this configuration, like, basically a child associates memories fondly with an animal. I mean, obviously that's a given, but I think that the sensory perception is heightened for people who might be older, for anybody who's trying to revisit the past when years were better and they were younger and healthier. So having a dog around them, obviously like a Pomeranian that they can actually hold as opposed to a big dog, is going to resonate with them and actually, sit in their lap and whatever. With the Lovers reversed, they don't want to give that dog up. I mean, when it's time to make the rounds, the dog has to be seen and heard. And when they hear him coming, they get really excited. But unfortunately, the time comes for everyone where they either have to be selfish and let the dog go, because the Lovers reversed is either about being selfish, thinking of only yourself or what's best for you. And that's not a bad thing necessarily, to preserve your own sanity, especially in a hospital with all the noise. So, being in bed with other people who share fondness for the animal maybe might also bring a camaraderie as a result with other people in the hospital.
So when it is this way, I'm sorry. So when we get nostalgia rich upside down, so for the people that are advanced in disease or advanced in age, and they don't quite have the recall of all their memories and experiences from happier times, when they're going through end times or very difficult times health wise, it's important that it's almost a grasping out and reaching for and holding on to love, a partner, a thing, a tangible. So it gives them pleasure to stroke the fur and to remember past loves, even though they can't currently experience it. And then finally, Jeff, you have both cards reversed.
Okay. All right. So, with the 6 of Cups reversed, you think of that first pet you had that died, and you're already maybe in hospice or something like that, or you're already in a situation where you're fighting for your life, and a dog comes in, and the memories are bittersweet because you want to play with it, and you're sort of reaching the end of your life, but going back to when you lost your first animal only makes you more weepy about man's best friend and the cycle of life. So when you have to really think about self-preservation and clearing out a lot of dogma about stuff that was implanted in you as a child, to the exclusion of others, you work on some of the issues that you do have, maybe with some sort of counselor or some sort of end of life palliative care person, and you come to grips with your past, whatever you've done that you maybe aren't ashamed of, but you've hurt other people, and you actually work on yourself with the Lovers reverse card in a way that you hadn't worked on before, and actually accept yourself and love yourself for who you are, and not just the child that lost a dog and lost so much through life and is about to lose their life.
Thank you for finishing that story out. The second story we have is Texas will now allow homebrewers to add distilled spirits to the mix. And up until this legislation was passed, it was illegal to own the piece of tubing or piping that allowed the alcohol to condense and drip out as the distilled spirits. So on this story, we have Page of Cups and the Knight of Swords. So I think, you know, the feds and Texas are ultra conservative, and you know, liquor and dancing and fast women, you know, are going to kill the youth of our culture. So you know, let's just outlaw all of them and not. Let's outlaw them so we can keep a blinder on and keep our children safe, even though we only see directly what's in front of us. We don't see what goes on in the backwoods or you know, um, uh, county roads and things like that. You know, young people are going to get spirits anyway. They're going to steal it from their parents. They're going to get somebody to go buy it for them in a liquor store. And then we got our Knight of Swords. It's they're the home brewers. They're going to charge on with this. They're not going to let it stop them. It's like there are going to be legal limits, but I think there are some entrepreneurial type people out there that will see it as a cash cow and say, "Oh, let's see if we can take advantage of this situation and pick up a little green on the side."
So
And Page of Cups upright, yeah, and then Knight of Swords reversed.
All right, so what would start as a very cordial sort of thing, to have someone come over and have a drink with you, is appealing. It's a nice offer, but when you get one whiff of it and you get how it's being made, even the people of Texas who are troubadours for independence and bucking the federal government's mandates about what's legal, and you know, since the state in its own edict has done so, they fear, even with their experimentation, that coming in is going to be a oversight of the Democratic Party if it gets into office that was going to try forcefully to stop this, because on a circuit court level, they might try to override what Texas is doing. So it's fast energy coming in, but you know, like the stinky fish, where you don't want to take a drink and it's too pungent, and people are getting, you know, royally fucked up in the privacy of their own home anyway. The federal government doesn't care because it's obsessed with oversight and all kinds of mandates to either, you know, find out what's going on behind closed doors. And that will be one of the things fought about in a civil war. So I see this as a lightning rod issue, maybe in the next 20 years between state government and the federal government, if there's a Democratic administration in the White House and it's still Greg Abbott or whoever, you know, in Texas or whatever, you know, principality or municipality rather has its say.
And with the Page of Cups reversed, you know, the Texas government, they're the know-it-alls. They're the ones who know what's best for Texas because, you know, we haven't been a state ever. We're our own republic. Is we have the right to split up into 4 separate states written into our Constitution and agreed upon when they took us into the United States. And then with the Page of Swords upright is it's going to be like the Oklahoma Sooners. It's going to be an equipment rush to get still pots and condensers and everything made so you can distill the spirit. So I think that it's going to be real expensive. You're like all hobbies worth doing, they become more expensive than they're actually worth. You know, my brother hunts deer. Well, if you put it pound for pound for beef, that deer costs probably about 7 times as much, you know, with investment and equipment and time. And so the payoff is only a personal pride issue. It's not about getting drunk or anything like that. So that's what I have for my portion of that reading. And then both reversed.
Okay, so the Page of Cups reversed. Basically, this is saying basically it's our way or the highway, but I see this as a date rape tool, a way to manipulate, a way to get the message across that it's still going to be a patriarchy. And with alcohol, yes, as Thomas points out, you can get it anyway. So trying to espouse the myth that what we can do as far as distilling our own makes it an attractive proposition, especially when there are parents that want to have parties at home with their kids and you hear about the parents getting in trouble for it. This is going to open the floodgates to that and make it not seem as unseemly to do. But the reality of it is things will remain status quo. I mean, Knight of Swords reversed to me is basically stagnation. Whether or not it's the government coming in, which in this case, I think they'll be able to be fended off. I think you're going to see more in the way of probably, as Thomas said, more in the way of, you know, autonomy within different counties or different areas, because as big as Texas is, and that expression about we're still in Texas yet, we've been driving so long, I forget what it is, but you will always have a home in Texas because you'll be free, and that will be what they can posit about this. I mean, you can drink your life away, and basically, if you have to turn into a slave to a wage slave, or even for that matter, a baby making whatever in Texas, at least you'll be ready for it and you can tolerate it better. If the status quo remains and you're drunk all the time.
Story number 3, Miss America number 3 this year. Due to extenuating circumstances, Miss America first choice, second choice have had to relinquish their duties. I don't know if Miss America number 3 has to keep the platform of the original Miss America, or the one that actually was there long enough to at least start their platform work, or if Miss America 3 gets to choose her own platform and work on it. I don't know. There may be some commercial deals with insurance companies or hospitals or farm industries or lobbyist groups. You know, I think they get some sponsorship, the pageant itself. So they may be limited in choice to what they pick to work on for their platform work. So that's what we have with the Eight of Pentacles. That's that work, that apprenticeship card. You can't just be pretty and be Miss America. You got to go make hundreds of appearances, and you know, it's a doing. It's not just a watching type deal. Um, so you know, you're there to inspire a bunch of young girls. You have to prove that you have a brain, which, you know, there's Tarot Killer again. Aw, how happy I am to see you. Now go away. Um, so it's work. I mean, it may sound glamorous just because you're pretty, but you got to have a brain on your head, and you got to put out some effort. But when we have the three sisters here and that little celebration, in this case, it's we plucked off one, we plucked off two, and you're the last choice. So you were the third loser, but now you get to be the first to represent. And work in the Three of Cups will be upside down and Eight of Pentacles upright.
Okay. Which comes first? The Pentacles? All right. So, to me,
yes,
they're bound to a patriarchy of beauty, and you've got all the people on YouTube in a lot of these different communities, or for that matter, outside of them, outside the communities, you know, nationally, screaming that they're serving the patriarchy. And this isn't about the divine feminine. This is anything but that. And they're a slave to commerce because they do have to make those appearances. But what was once, you know, celebratory, or once they could get their feet in the door or their foot in the door, they thought it would open up all kinds of avenues for exposure. And it opens up avenues for exposure. But with, you know, 45, and then, you know, his ties to Miss America, and then Russia when he went over there with that pageant, and then the worldwide sex syndicate or whatever, this card has a whole lot of meaning upright, if you really look at it. So basically in shackles, yes, but and a lot of times when there's a Three of Cups, to me, a three can be about chances, but when it's reversed, it can also mean betrayal. These women don't realize that they're betraying themselves by having to be turned out so much. And as a result, it sends messages where people like JonBenet Ramsey get glorified for being a beauty queen and then murdered. And then Hershey will read on it, or Heather might read on it on her channel. And Heather will be disgusted repeatedly. So it's like, what should be a celebration and what should be something that is opening up doors for girls to broaden their horizons and broaden their prospects and be seen. I mean, to me, this should be like the Three of Wands instead of the Three of Cups reversed. It's a real downer that society values beauty and is still to the point of exclusion of all the other things that really are helping women to advance. So in the age of Epstein and Trump, it sort of sullens the mood of that sort of thing, even if it is once was wholesome. Any ounce of that is lost. Oh,
Okay, with our Eight of Pentacles upside down, don't think that you can skate by just by looking pretty. I mean, you got to be the whole. You got to be the whole package. You got to have the brains. You got to have the drive and the initiative, and you know, you can't look just pretty on stage. You have to answer the questions intelligently, and then you have to have a certain body for a bathing suit, and then you got to have that same certain body to accentuate a cocktail dress or an evening gown. Um, you wouldn't catch any woman in an evening gown in Texas in the summer. That's for sure. I mean, it's either going to be a sundress or a fur coat. There's no in between here. Then with the Three of Cups, the celebration, I think when it's a contest of 51 or 52 women going head to head, it's going to be a knockdown, drag out, claws out, smile at you in front, and talk daggers about you behind your back. And I mean, women are already judged very harshly by the patriarchal society, but for them to tear their own sex down, it's like everything. If we all get behind it and we all support it, we can do anything. But if we're all divided and doing our own thing, nothing gets done. And now we're to reverse.
so when the Eight of Pentacles is reversed, you can't be turned out anymore. You can't have an incentive to want to do something like this unless the ultimate end result maybe is to be stigmatized to where you would fear for your life, potentially to be trafficked and or be in a position where you're compromised integrity wise. In other words, to advance your career. The only one I can think it paid off for to some degree was 1984 and Vanessa Williams, but I don't know if that was Miss America or Miss USA, but I don't really care. I mean, I think
I would just say pageant society as a whole. I mean, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be one or the other. All right. So in that particular instance, you're not shackled to, some idea, and you get kind of lazy or complacent as you get older and more haggard. When you can't rely on beauty, you can't rely on beauty anymore, and as you drink more, and you betray yourself, and you betray your integrity, and you betray the impulses that you had to do something really good. You find that, with the threes, it can be chancy, and living on the edge and one night stands and all that other stuff that came as a result and that was fraught with adventure is gone. Not because you're older, but because you're less beautiful. So that, to me, is the statement here that's being made.
And that brings us to our last story, and it is about a historic alchemist, Tycho Brahe, in his astronomical observatory. They found tungsten, evidences of tungsten in his laboratory. And at the time, tungsten was not a known alloy or element to that period. So they know that he was practicing alchemy, mixing things together to create something else. And without tungsten, we wouldn't have incandescent bulbs and sharp razors. Thank goodness for the safety razor. So in this story, so even though he was on the outside an astronomer, he was a all-around scientist and observer, and set up his laboratory and was dabbling in maybe arts that were not approved of at the time from people. So let's see. My card goes second at this time. Okay, so we've got the King of Swords upright, and we've got the Three of Wands upright. So King of Swords, Tycho may have had to hide his alchemy, but he certainly didn't have to hide his astrology and his observatory, because he was a known scientific scholared man at that time. And our Three of Wands, well, that's setting out on that adventure that you planned in the Two of Wands. You made the decision to do it and what to do. Now you're doing everything that you can to put the concrete plans into motion. And by his experimenting and dealing with other chemicals, he came up with the alloy of tungsten, which he may not have known what to do or where to use that alloy that he either stumbled upon or made with purpose. Maybe he was hoping for a property of qualities of the metals. And you've got the King of Swords upright and the Three of Wands reversed, Jeff.
Okay, so with the King of Swords upright and the Three of Wands reversed, you want to think that there's some method to his madness, that there's a strategy. But yet then again, even people like Nostradamus, who were considered heretical at the time, and maybe this alchemist was too, they were opening themselves up and crossing new frontiers in terms of what they were able to do, yet being seen as someone who could unleash something that maybe wasn't a known commodity, was a scary thing for a lot of people. And it was seen as, not an ironclad thing to be an alchemist or someone even in a science back then, where, there might not have been a hell of a lot of credence that was needed to be attributed to something like that, as opposed to, more superstition that was assigned to things, even astrology and all that other stuff that was considered, heretical as well. So when the Three of Wands comes in, and it doesn't make people want to broaden their horizons to what, things like the earth is not flat, and, these things that were put forth that they couldn't see beyond because they weren't willing to experiment enough. And I think, especially in medieval times with bloodletting and, during the plague and things like that, when, sorts of things like that were done, was a result of adhering to ways that were older and not opening up to new constructs and not opening up to visions and visionaries far beyond people's comprehension. So that's what I see with the three of, and not being inspired by the possibility that something could be better or different. So that's what I see with the Three of Wands reversed.
Okay, with the King of Swords reversed and the Three of Wands upright. So I would say that just succinctly, this would be misled politicians by religious dogma persecute the plans of somebody who is actually doing scientific research for the right ways, for the right reasons, not the right ways. I mean, they're experimenting to find the right ways, but they're doing it for the right reasons. Curiosity and discovery. Why do people climb Mount Everest? I certainly couldn't do it these days. Never really wanted to do that one. Why do you climb the mountain? Because it's there. And then both of them reversed, and that will get us through our 4 stories for today. And if anybody wants a reading, just type me. All throngs of you. I don't think that we can get to all the readings if everybody types me.
Oh, and 999 ASMR Tarot's here. I wanted to make mention of something in that Miss USA story about the first. Did you read that part about the first 15 letters or the first 15 sentences of the Miss Teen USA, that withdrawal? She wrote something like, I am not free, or something. I am suppressed. So I thought of an acrostic. It spelled out the first words, the first letters of each of those 15 sentences. People on social media were able to identify it as an acrostic. So Bill, you'll have to look at it. So anyway, with the King of Swords reversed and the Three of Pentacles reversed, basically, they want to think that there is something deviant about what is being done with the King of Swords. In other words, that there's some sort of evil. I don't want to say evil magic. It would be almost like having the magic card reversed, because even though something might be stumbled upon and it might be serendipitous or by accident or whatever, they don't want to ascribe anything of importance to a strategy, and they want to make it look like it is witchcraft so that they don't have to deal with the fact that somebody is broadening their horizons, or the world's horizons for that matter, by opening up to science and things like that. So yet, paradoxically, with this card reversed, it makes it look like it's some sort of, some sort of witchcraft, or some sort of, alchemy that is subversive. And it just basically shuts people down collectively across the world from expanding their horizons. So, you convince enough people and you say enough things enough times, people will start to believe it. And their own imagination and their own accepting of different things as possible and worthy of exploration, despite their best educations, won't, even having the groundwork laid for them, won't lead to anything worthy for society to grow. So that's what I see with the two of them reversed, especially with the Three of Wands reversed too.
Community. There we go. Okay, I can't really figure out how to put it on subscriber mode. I found it one day. I'll just have to go watch a YouTube video. Does anybody want a personal reading today? Or a general reading or an angel message? Moira would like a reading. Do you have a topic that you would like us to read, or general, or we are here for you, Moira? General for August. We got somebody at the door. I'm just gonna see what I can hear.
Psst, psst, psst.
I hear bees in my bonnet. We're pesky little bees.
More, I'm getting dizzy, just a little dizzy from the energy here. Whoa. The first three words I heard for you were groundswell, and I heard the word protection, and I heard, well, I won't say the other word because I say it all the time. So I don't know if it has to do with you or not. I got the Four of Pentacles for you for August. So you're really judicious, I'm getting, in how you spend your money. And it's actually the Four of Toilet Paper here, but this is this deck
The
I've
hoarder
used.
card, the COVID.
Yeah, the Tarot and the Pandemic Revolution card. So they're hoarding the toilet paper and they've got the mask on. I'm getting the sensation with you that there could be some sort of like vertigo or something that is creating some sort of havoc in your life right now where you didn't introduce it, but it has like a dual energy of inspiring you because they got the Magician too. But it also could be something that could take you away to some faraway land, maybe in travel. But at the same time, too, it could lift you to maybe some type of addiction, is what I'm hearing. I don't know if there's any sort of obsessive compulsive or compulsion to do something repeatedly with you. I'm just going to come out and say it. But that's what I'm feeling. And the energy to me feels like, whoa, like, kind of like that. So, what I'm saying to you, the overall message here would be stop, take a breath, and look at what you want to do and what you've done to get to where you want to go. Because the energy this month, I feel like there's going to be a lot coming in for you around, I'm hearing the 17th of the month. But try to be try to think about what it is that you want, and if what you want is not what this represents, which to me, from what I'm feeling, it isn't, steer clear. That's all I gotta say.
So I don't know if you know what's going on astrologically, Moira, but we are in something called a Mercury retrograde till the, what was it, the 23rd or 26th, somewhere towards the end of the month, and it just started. Um, your reading starts out with the Four of Swords, so you need to rest, especially during all this chaotic energy that's going on around you. It can make unpredictable things wildly unpredictable and wildly uh, overblown, or overblown it from situation. I mean, like blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
Mountains are made out of molehills during this time. Four is completeness, but in this case, it's just chaos around you. So just to insulate yourself, you've got to take that rest. The next card I have is the King of Swords reversed. So I think you can't go at approaching things with malicious intent at this time, because if you throw out anything with malicious intent, um, the environment, of the energy around you and the peoples around you are going to weigh heavily. They're you point a cap gun at them, and they point a grenade launcher at you and pull the trigger. So everything, that bad negative energy gets um, it gets magnified during a retrograde time, but I think everything turns out in the end, because as the world has done every day since um, the heavenly bodies have formed, there is another day, and you have once it gets past the retrograde, we have the Six of Wands, which is the victory card. And for some people, the victory will be getting through it, just getting through it. I mean, lasting the 20 some days that we're going to have this retrograde, and just going the distance with it, and not burning the bridges behind them. So I don't know if that makes sense to you, Moira, but that's what I have for this month. Do you have any programs coming up, Jeff, that you want to?
I think no, not this week.
No.
Next week.
And things are going same old for me. I'm gonna probably leave and either smoke or eat my feelings right now. And thank you, Jeff, for coming back and doing this with
you're
me.
Welcome.
As you've found out, I do everything at the last possible moment, but I try to keep you clued in.
I think in this community, it's a good thing. Spontaneity is what they need, because that's where the energy is the best, is when it's on the cusp of something. So I think that makes sense perfectly. Plus, you're a Pisces, so you have one foot in, this realm, and then another spiritual realm beyond. Yeah. So those two worlds meet. So that's doubly intuitive right there.
In the blue water and the blue sky.
Mm-hmm.
I'm plugged into the Matrix, but yet I'm a I'm a trailblazer that can't move through the forest with my little wheelie cart. Moira, you're
Felicia,
probably...
did you know we were reading tonight? Did you want a reading?
Welcome, Felicia. I don't know that I've done a reading ever for you. I may have only seen your name a couple times. I promise I don't bite hard. Oh, there we go. It's already up. It's smarter than me. Well, if that is...
No,
if...
she wants a reading.
Oh, hey. Brave soul. Everybody who visits our channels are brave souls, and I do appreciate you testing our abilities and our intuitions. Okay, I've got this one. General reading. Okay, so first card up is the Four of Pentacles, Felicia, and I'm gonna say clean the house if you can. Clean house, get everything all spick and span and tidy and everything in its place, because as King Midas fills his treasury up, he wants to be able to put the jewels in the beautiful room, and he wants to put the coins under lock and key in the vault, but have that nice amber light going on it, so his gold looks golder than any other king in the realms. Your second card, the Ace of Cups, is the promise of emotional fulfillment. So I think that you can, for the upcoming little bit of future, I think disappointments are abated. So if you're one who get easily disappointed in people or disappointed in the world, either something will let you overlook those disappointments, or let you be the one to take charge of your own emotions and not let other people pull the strings of your emotion or pull the tears out of your eyes or blindside you. And then your outcome is the Knight of Wands. I think it is the period to save up for that creative enterprise that you have, whether it be sewing or crocheting or knitting or bocce balls, whatever your hobby is. I think now is the time, with all this chaotic energy of the retrograde going on. I think that creative passion can be amplified and notched up to give you that spark of enthusiasm to return to something that you may have abandoned earlier. And that's what I have for your reading, Felicia. Thank you. And Jeff?
Either there's a jealous ex-girlfriend of somebody you're with now around you, or you're the jealous ex. The reason I'm saying that is, like, I feel like I want to jump out of my skin right now, to some degree, because I got the Hermit reversed for you. Right, this is what it looks like in this deck, but I got it reversed, and that to me means someone's either trying to humiliate you, or someone you think is your friend, and I got the Queen of Swords reversed, is doing something to egg you on, or you're doing something unconsciously to egg them on. and in the past you've been hurt. There's been a betrayal. I think that betrayal might have been as a result of a threesome or three in a relationship playing one off of the other. And I think to some degree, maybe the boyfriend was a part of it. I don't know. Then I got the energy surrounding you. Hi, Hershey. Thank you for your explanation of this card. The Seven of Pentacles as energy on top of the situation. It's just a scenario where I think you need to look at where you are and just assess what it is. not enough, but also be aware of the fact that she needs to be out of the picture. Whatever she's doing to you to gaslight you, or what you're doing to gaslight someone else, needs to stop, because then I got another 7 for you. The 7 of Swords. And I'm thinking basically either someone's trying to take your man, someone's trying to take something from you. And there's a plan. There's been a thought out, methodical plan of theft here. So just tread lightly. I don't know if this energy resonates with you at all. But as I said, for entertainment purposes only, I don't see anything really bad. I just don't know what really went on between you and maybe 2 other people to where it got like this.
We're humans, so it means it got complicated or messy, or could have. Thank you, Felicia, and thank you, Jeff, for being
You're
here
welcome.
and reading with me and sharing your knowledge of the cards and the wisdom. Very accurate. I feel this energy. Good. I'm glad that resonated for you, Felicia.
And Felicia,
you can catch me next on Wednesday night, tomorrow, 8:00 Central Time, for Shadow Work with Hershey, the Shadow Reader. That's hosted by me, but all the intellectual property and has come from Hershey. With we sit on the patio and we study these things and try them out. No, that's not going to work this week. Let's go this direction. So we haven't picked it out, but do expect some journaling, some work on yourself to help heal earlier life traumas and to make you a better person mentally. But we encourage you that if you have entertainment purposes only, we are not professional counselors or psychiatrists or healthcare professionals or legal professionals or financial professionals. Go to licensed and accredited people. This is we do this as a joy hobby, or we do this as a profession, and that's not what I'm doing this for. It is definitely not a profession. It is something that can keep me busy and feeling of worth and of value when everything has physically gone to shit around me. So with that, I want to thank you for being here. Remember, be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, and go out and make it a great night. Bye, all.
Night. Hi, Tarot Killer.